Midsummer Night stream, and you're watching In Focus.
Welcome to In Focus with Eden Lane.
The Colorado New Play Summit by the Denver Center Theater Company begins this week. Later we'll discuss Map of Heaven with the playwright Michele Lowe, whose play received a reading last year and a full production this year. But we begin with A Midsummer Night's Dream by the Denver Center Theater Company. So I'm here with Matthew, who is the deck chief for the Denver Center Theater Company. Matthew, I have to ask you, what does that mean?
Basically, it means if something breaks, I get to fix it.
Oh!
Unless it's plugged in, then the electrician fix it.
So that could mean any of the stage
If
or
the floor cracks, or if there's a squeak, or if something comes loose, it's up to me.
Well, you're going to tell me about some of the interesting sort of special effects that you have going on, and I guess we're starting with the moon. Tell me about the moon, how it works, and what role does it play in this production?
The moon is attached to one of our regular line sets that we typically move by hand, but in this show it is automated, which means it has a winch controlling its vertical and a separate winch controlling its horizontal movement.
Is it done by computer?
Yes, all controlled by computer.
And why does it need to move during the show?
The director wants to show somewhat the passage of time over the night, and we decided to automate it because it moves so slowly. It is hard for a human operator to do it consistently, and so they would get a smoother arc with automation.
So it could be predicted throughout the pace of the evening and be consistent.
Where it's going to be and when it's going to be when it gets there.
Are there other automated parts of the stage that we should be looking out for?
There are the lower two steps, up center, retract and extend.
Oh.
There are the second set of the blue show legs move on and off stage depending on what the temple does.
That's that sort of netting with those beautiful lit up orbs in it.
Correct.
Okay.
And then the final thing is the bower, which is Titania's bower, and it comes out of its hidden place and then down so people can see it.
And then we also have a water effect to look forward to.
We do. We have a little water pond downstage that a couple of the actors enter during the show. And on cold days, it's very brisk.
Oh! So we'll have to wish for them some warm water.
That's right.
So how long did it take to plot out all of this, and how many people worked on these components?
I would say programming probably took a week's amount of time from discussions with the director to an initial final look to when we go into tech rehearsals. And then during tech rehearsals, as they watch the show, they can say, well, I'd like it to be a little slower here. I want it to move over stage left. So the assistant technical director does most of the programming and the basic show look. And then in tech rehearsals, I know the parameters I can work inside of, and then I can tweak it as the director wants.
So as the actors might change their pacing or adjust their blocking a little bit, you're able to participate in the performance?
Yes.
Well, how exciting. And
It
tonight is your opening night.
It is opening.
Well, I wish you a very good show. I really appreciate you sneaking in early to tell us a little bit about the technology that's part of this production at the Denver Center Theater Company.
My pleasure.
And only hours before opening, I got to meet the young lovers on stage. Caitlin Wise plays Hermia, and Leigh Miller plays Lysander. So tonight is your opening night for Midsummer Night's Dream, and you're coming early to talk to us. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure.
Yes, absolutely.
And you're playing the lovers who are in love at the beginning of the play.
Indeed.
Yes.
Indeed.
Lysander and Hermia. Tell me, what can we look forward to in this production?
Well, I think that we don't have, this is the classic piece.
Oh, good.
A Midsummer Night's Dream. There's not a lot of gimmicks. Puck is Puck, and we're set in a Napoleonic kind of era, which is kind of in keeping. It's classical lines and all that kind of good stuff. And if you need an in, the play itself being the most produced and well-attended Shakespeare piece in the canon, is told with clarity.
That's an interesting approach in and of itself, because often we see companies think they have to layer upon gimmicks to get people to come and see Shakespeare, but you're not doing that.
Right, the words tell the story. I love that. And but the set is beautiful, and the costumes, that Napoleonic period it's gorgeous for the men and for the women. So the shapes you see and the lighting and the mystical fairiness, I mean, it's really quite wonderful, as well as being just straightforward.
You mentioned the mystical fairiness, and it's, in case someone isn't familiar, it's a comedy.
Yes.
Indeed.
A little bit crazy.
Yes.
And romantic, and you can find lots of reasons to have fun. What is it like for you to be in a production like this after you're trained and training at the conservatory?
Oh, I look forward to it every night. It is, as you say, fun. I mean, you go from being, I love just the newness first of love, too, that we get to experiment and do, and then go on an adventure into the woods with falling over people, love juice squirting everywhere, you have...
Love juice squirting everywhere. That's that evil puck.
Yes.
Yes,
That's right.
the miscreant. Yeah.
Miscreant. That's my word for the day now. Miscreant.
Miscreant.
I love that. Well, because you start off playing lovers, what is that like for you as actors to be in a setting like this where the audience is so close to you? You're sort of thrust out into the audience, as it were, to play that kind of relationship, even in a comedy.
Well, it's been a lot of fun. It's funny when you hear about your casting. You say, well, who's my Hermia or who's my Lysander? Because you enter a process that at the end, she will forever be my Hermia. And it's so much fun, and it's been especially fun since we've known each other in the past, but now we know each other so much better that it seems easy to get in front of people and to play. It's really play, as opposed to, this production in particular is not stand and talk, it's play. And it's throughout the whole play. Everybody's having a great time doing what they're doing. So being in love and experimenting and finding out what that is each night is delightful.
And it's wonderful. I mean, knowing Leigh also helped, but just being able to work with someone who it's new every night. And if I give something different, I get something different in return, and I feel so safe, and yet it's exciting as well. So it's wonderful to work with him.
Well, since tonight is your opening night, I don't want to keep you too long, but I wanted to ask you, since it can't help but cause a little bit of nerves in you, how are you coping with the nerves for tonight?
Ooh. Good question.
A lot of drinking? Is that the wrong answer?
Chocolate.
Chocolate? No.
Cupcakes. Yes.
Cupcakes? Substance abuse. Coffee. No.
Right.
I don't know about you, but I'm excited to have an audience. I'm excited to open and to, as soon as the director gives it over to the cast, it becomes our play. And not because we say good riddance to the director, it's been wonderful, but it becomes a different beast where we get to experiment with it each night, and it ceases to be about finding the solutions, and it just starts to be about finding, communicating in the moment. And that's a really great gift that Kent has given us, to be able to say, you're in a great place, now go have fun.
Go enjoy. Yeah, I mean, there's a little of expectation for opening night, but it's nice that we've had a week of previews to lead up to it, to settle in a little.
Which is uncommon
Yes.
in the American theater.
Oh.
To have a whole week of
that much preview?
Unless it's
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Unless it's Spider-Man.
Then
and
they need a few more weeks, maybe.
Yeah, or a few more Spider-Man.
Oh, yes.
Well, I really appreciate you letting us sort of interrupt your prep for tonight. I can't wait to see this production, and I know that lots of Coloradans will really enjoy the work you're presenting for them. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you so much.
When the youngest cast members arrived, they were eager to tell me all about their experience in A Midsummer Night's Dream. What does it feel like to know that tonight is the official opening and everything is set the way it's going to be?
Well,
It's really exciting. It helped having the previews, knowing what the audience reacts to and where you need to stop for laughs and stuff like that. But opening night, it's so exciting because this is the real deal, so yeah.
And all of you but one has been in Denver Center Theater Company productions before, and that's you.
Me,
This is your
yeah.
first one.
I am the newbie. It's really exciting to finally step on the stage, and it's such an honor and it's just overwhelming. I'm so grateful and gracious. So.
The four young ladies are playing fairies, and you're the Indian boy. What is that? What is that character?
Well, the Indian boy is, Titania and Oberon fight over me basically, and they're basically like going through hard times, like fighting back and forth. And like Titania first has me, and then Oberon basically just like steals me onto his side.
So are you their son?
First I had a mother, but then she died giving birth to me, and then so Titania basically
Wants to be your mom?
Yeah, so she adopted me basically, and now I'm on her side.
That sounds like a serious role.
Yeah.
How does that feel to play that kind of role in the middle of a comedy?
It's fun. Like, you have to, I don't really talk much, but, you still have to, do all the actions and be physical and kind of, just be yourself, basically.
Wow. And the rest of you ladies are playing fairies. So what does that mean, really? I mean, is it fairies like Tinkerbell? Is that what it is?
No, definitely not.
We're very grounded fairies. Like, we don't fly. Like, we can run. Like, if you wanted us to go around the world, it would probably take us 50 minutes or 45 minutes. So we're kind of fast on our minds, and we're grounded fairies, and we don't do that much high, and we don't really aren't like the normal fairies.
We're kind of like animals. We're like, we move kind of like a little bit like a cat, and a lot of times we're low to the ground, and we're kind of from the forest, so that gives
So
a
your
different spin.
costumes are probably going to be very different than the way you look
They look like we almost came out of nature instead of people. We definitely don't act like it. Our wigs kind of shows that we don't really care. We're more in sync with nature, and as you kind of see in the play, the fairies need to help all the mortals with everything. Like, they have to make the seasons change. They have to help with love and everything. So
The language is very different than the way stories are done now. Does it make it hard for you to figure out where you're at in the play and if you have any lines or what's going on around you, or how did you approach that?
I read there's a publishing company that publishes the actual Shakespeare, and then on the other side of the page it has the transliteration of what it would be today. So I read that, and then I read the normal Shakespeare, and so now I understand the whole thing.
And we came in for I think about a week of text analysis, and we just went over. We weren't there for very much of the adult roles, so we didn't really get to see all the adult text. But we did learn all the fairy stuff, which is really cool because it kind of takes you more in depth to where sometimes you worry that the audience is going to kind of scratch their heads that everything goes so fast. But once you really listen to it, it makes so much sense. But it's beautiful in that sense. So.
Well, I know that you are going to have to start to get ready for tonight soon, but I'm wondering if you'll show me what your dressing rooms look like and what you do backstage while you're waiting for the show to begin and in between.
Yeah,
Totally.
Okay? But you can't listen to me. Our first stop backstage was their section of the green room. They shared the wide variety of activities they have available to occupy themselves during their downtime. Our tour continued on through the wardrobe area where they showed me the laundry, and we finally got to one of their favorite spots backstage. This special kids-only area is where they store their snacks, and they're sure to include a few healthier options. It was finally time for us to continue our conversation in their dressing rooms. What is it like to be an actor at the Denver Center Theater Company?
Well, it's really an awesome privilege to do this and to be able to work with them, because this is my second show. I haven't worked with them before. So it's really nice to be with them and just work with them a lot. Yeah, this is an amazing facility, and it's just one of the best places to act, and being young, it's an amazing opportunity. So,
And we're,
Go ahead.
okay, we're all like a family here. Like we're all kind of like close, and like everybody says hi. Like we're all like in the Denver Center. Like we're all like a family. We're like together, and we're always
Sounds really
close.
nice.
stage
Yeah,
family.
they probably know better than I do since this is my first show here, but everyone has been so welcoming and so warm, which is awesome. And I remember walking in on the first day going, oh God, all the doors are green. I mean, it's a maze back here, but you learn it, and then comes your second home. So
So do your friends at school know that you're actors?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we miss a ton of school to
Yeah.
be here.
A ton.
So when we like leave school in the middle of class, they're like, "Where are you going?" And so that's a nice way to be like, "Come see our show." Yeah,
That's a great idea to
Yeah.
say come down and see the show.
Yeah.
exactly.
What does it feel like to be the only boy in this production?
Well, it feels like it's kind of like in A Christmas Carol. I did it twice. There is a bunch of boys, so I kind of felt like what I can do with boys. Like I've been able to do like experience acting with boys, but like in the Midsummer, so they're only girls. I think it's fun because I'm kind of like experience like what I'm doing. Like I come over here a lot, and it's a lot of fun. So
So I have one more question. Now that you've been in Midsummer Night's Dream and you got to learn about this world of Titania and Oberon, do you now believe in fairies?
Well, I believe in the tooth fairy and a lot of fairies because it's just a lot of things have happened to me. Like they say if your bread is if your bread lands on the floor butter side down, then a fairy did it.
Does
So,
anybody
yeah.
else believe in fairies of
Well,
any kind?
I probably did when I was younger. The thing is, like, if you don't believe, this makes it so much more magical for you because you actually get, like, we are actually fairies. So if we don't believe in ourselves, like, how are we going to be fairies out there? To make other kids, like, her age come see this and be like, oh my gosh, there are really fairies who do stuff in the night like that. So.
you guys, you're hurting Tinkerbell. Have you never seen Peter Pan? Come on. We need to clap
So,
our hands through
do you believe
Let's
in
do
fairies?
it. Let's do
Totally.
it. Clap for Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell. I don't.
You don't, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And you can win a pair of free tickets just by adding your comments on our Facebook page. Visit infocustv.org under the About Us tab to find the link. And finally, my follow-up visit with Michele Lowe. So I'm delighted that we get to sort of sneak in during the opening week for
Yes.
Map of Heaven.
Hi, Eden.
Hi. I'm so glad that your play was one of the plays that
Me
got
too.
to be produced. I sort of knew that. If you may recall that I said to you, this one's going to get picked.
You were so optimistic.
Well, I was so moved.
Thank you.
And this isn't your first time getting produced out of that summit by the Denver Center Theater Company.
It's true.
The first one was Inanna,
Inanna, which we did a reading of for the Colorado New Play Summit 2 years ago. And it was fantastic. It was a great experience. It was also, I was commissioned to write that play, to write a play, and it became Inanna.
And this play, we saw the reading, and for those that may not be familiar, when a playwright is working on a piece, it doesn't just go from the page to the stage. There's a lot that happens in between. So what has happened from that reading till now?
On Map of Heaven. When I left the Colorado New Play Summit last year, I had a lot to think about. I was really excited by where the play was. I thought I had gotten a lot of work done, but I still had some questions, in particular about one of the characters. So I went home, and I was lucky enough to find Evan Cabinet, who is my director, to work with. And we sat down, and over a period of time, several conversations over several months, we really honed in on what it was that I wanted to make work better, what wasn't happening the way I wanted it to sound, to feel to an audience. And it was one character's arc. And through the course of those months and subsequent conversations, I honed in on the character and worked her a little bit better. And here she is.
A supporting character.
A supporting character. And what happened then, we had a meeting here in July with all the designers. They flew everybody out. And for 3 hours, we did nothing but talk about Map of Heaven and how it would look, how it would feel. And there it is. And Then after that, came back and we started rehearsals in December, first week of December, and I've put in many changes since then on things that I learned from the actors and from hearing it again and again, and from Evan hearing it for the very first time.
So how does it go from being the work that's in your heart, because this isn't one that was in your head, how does it go from being in your heart to being given over to actors the way you've had to do with this piece?
It's not easy to give it over, and what ends up happening is it's a little bit of a struggle, and eventually they win. And tomorrow night, it's no longer my play when it opens, it becomes the actor's play. And I have nothing to do with it except to sit there and love every second of it. I'm very, very proud of this production. I am very, very excited about it. And all the things that I wanted to see in it, to feel when I saw it, are now in it, or as close to in it as I possibly could get it. And we are finding out through audiences that they're loving it too.
We hear reports from, because you're a playwright who lives in Manhattan, we hear reports from various Broadway productions about the attention they receive when they're trying to finish the work that you've just described. Spider-Man, of course, being the most recent. And there's so much focus because of the risk of money.
Yes.
Does working with a company like the Denver Center Theater Company have that same pressure, or is the creative process more free? How is it different?
It's wonderful being in Denver. First of all, I love being here because of the support that I get from the company and from the audiences. It's so great when I leave a house and people are in the lobby and they will come up and introduce themselves, and they've seen my other work, and I love that feeling. But what you're talking about is so important to the development of a new play, because I'm under the radar being in Denver. Now, the radar will come in when we do the summit, but right now, as I work on the play, there are no monetary considerations. There are no investors that need to be paid off. There is a different kind of pressure. The pressure is just to get the work right. And that's really freeing and really wonderful.
There was a time where Broadway shows would have out-of-town tryouts. Is this sort of a surrogate for that process?
I think so. I think it depends on the play. It depends on where the play is in its process. And yes, there's always the hope that New York is always, it's not in the theater, but it's out there for sure. But yes, I think that more and more regional productions are moving to New York. But I try not to think about that, believe it or not. I really try to be and live in the moment and think, okay, this is it. If this is the only production, this one has to sing. This one has to be the one. And so that's what I really focus on.
If I may say, the caliber of work at the Denver Center Theater Company really sort of allows that.
Absolutely.
That moment for, if this is the only production, it's the quintessential production. Do you think I'm off there?
No, I think you're absolutely right. And I felt that way about Inanna, and I feel this way about this production. I'm so proud of both of them.
So now that you've had multiple productions here in Colorado and attended the summit, you're almost an honorary Coloradan.
I love being here. I just love it. Like I said, I love the audiences. I love being familiar after all these, it's been 6 years since I've started coming here. And being in this group of development, being in this group of people who so support my work, it's just, it's an amazing feeling to come here and feel like I'm home. Even though I live in Manhattan, my artistic home is really in Denver.
Oh, I love that.
It's true.
Now, we can see on this set, that's already the caliber of work that we'd see in New York. And we're used to that here in Denver. But we see some hints here that they've taken this loft and pressed some of the script out into the audience via the proscenium.
Yes.
Was that a device that you came up with, or was that the designer's?
No, it was the designer and the director. And just the idea that when you come in to see Map of Heaven, when you enter the space, you are entering the play, as soon as you come into the room.
Last year I asked you, if I hadn't seen Map of Heaven, how would you describe it? And I'm wondering, how would you describe it now? How would you describe Map of Heaven if they know nothing about it?
It's interesting, because I think when I spoke with you last, I described it as a power shift between a couple. And I don't think it's about that anymore. I think those pieces are still in there. But I think the work that I've done on the script and the work we've done on the set, on the stage, with sound, with music, but more important, with the development of the characters, I think it's about a relationship in which two people don't trust each other the way they used to. And they don't communicate the way they used to. And when one of them the husband, the radiologist, makes a fateful choice in his business life, the repercussions, the reverberations it has on Lena, his wife's life, and her show that is about to open in Soho, these are changes that will never be reversed. And what is it like to live in that marriage?
Wow. That is a very different description this time.
But I think it's accurate.
I can't wait to see it tomorrow night.
I can't wait for you to see it.
I'm looking forward to it, and I know that you'll really enjoy seeing Map of Heaven, so log on to thedenvercenter.org and make sure you get your tickets while it's still here.
Colorado singer-songwriter Matt Morris has high-profile ties in the music industry that began in his youth when he worked with Justin Timberlake. Since then, he's had success writing for other singers and releasing his own music. As he finishes his next CD and plans for a concert in Colorado, we had a chance to stop by and visit with him.
My show is going to be at the Bluebird Theater on February 18th. It's Friday night. The doors open at 8, the music starts at 9. I suggest that people wear comfortable shoes because we're going to be dancing.
And you get to support 2 community organizations.
That's right. You come to the Bluebird Theater on the 18th and you will get to find out about 2 wonderful community organizations, Metro Caring, which is an amazing food bank here in Denver, and also the LGBT Center.
So join us at the Bluebird for Matt's concert, and we'll bring you more of our conversation in an upcoming episode.
That's all for this edition. Remember to join us on Facebook and Twitter. With all that Colorado has to offer, we're here to help you keep it in focus. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Snugglebug.